So many great games this year, so many solo modes in them. We can't possibly cover them all. I did not get to play them all, but I did get to play quite a few great solo board games. This is subjective, right? This is subjective. I hope you'll have fun with me, and I hope that you will put in the comments your favorite game of the year or your favorite games of the year. A little bit behind, but hopefully that's okay for you. We don't all buy the games right when they come out, right? So I had to narrow it down. I want to show you some runner-ups or just some really notable games that could have won. Again, this is subjective, but I'm going to explain exactly why. Howdy, and welcome back. I'm Mike, your board gaming every dude, and this is a series of the best games, I think, solo board games, I think, of 2023 that I got to play, because there's a lot I didn't get to. First of all, let's start with an obvious one. Let's go to this big boy over here. Easily could win the best of 2023. Final Girl Series 2. It was delivered either at the very, very end of 2022, but retail, it's only hitting in 2023. So, of course, you know, this is like a survival. Oh, no, it's not a survival. It's like a scary movie franchise from Van Ryder Games, Evan Derrick, AJ Porfirio, and many other designers. And this, of course, is if you buy like the whole collection of it, which is a lot of money. You probably won't. Realistically, what you're probably going to buy is it's not in this box, you're going to buy the base box game, which is 20 bucks, and then you're going to buy feature films. So I would recommend the Storybrooke Woods right here, feature film, and maybe the other is really your choice as far as what you want, an asylum and all of that. I'm thinking the organism is probably the one. I would probably get those two in the base game. So you're looking at going 60 bucks in. Again, not going over everything, but it has magnetic box covers for each feature film. Come on. There we go. And that has the monster that you're fighting against, as well as special cards. And then, of course, your landscape area, the location that you're going to be running around in, playing as the final girl, trying to survive and rescue other poor survivors, you know, boyfriends that get lost and all that stuff, while also beating the big bad wolf. Why isn't this game of the year? Well, just because of swing. Swing isn't a bad thing. Let's get Gemma looking at me again. Oh my goodness. Final Girl, you know you're buying it because there is swing, and you want that because you want that scary movie experience where anything could happen at any moment. Things could go a little better. Things could go awful. And honestly, the better games are the games where things go awful. So while this is fantastic, this easily could be the solo board game of the year. It was one of the top 3, but because of the swing, it just didn't quite make it. Also, no, it seems like it's a cheaper game. It is, you know, you buy the base box, the core box for 20 bucks, and then you get each feature film is $17 to $20, something like that. So you can mix one of the villains against a location in a different place, or you can mix up the locations. You can mix up the final. Each feature film comes with 2 final girls. You can mix and match them. They all have their own special powers. You need to go like $60 to $80 in, really, to experience the game as it's intended. That's 1 core box and 2 feature films. If you don't get that much, you don't get to experience the mix and match. So just know it's still a $60 to $80 board game. I liked it enough. I got little miniatures, little vehicle miniatures. I got little, for the birds feature film, I got, or Terror from Above, I got the little birdies. And I got this mystery box. So, hey, enjoyed it. All right, anyway, let's look at another runner-up. This is kind of a hidden gem that I really haven't seen many talk about, but I think it could be up for a solo board game of the year. You've seen this on the channel, Bonnie and Clyde, and I'm going to apologize my tutorial for this. I was kind of going just through burnout by that point of making videos, which I've totally resolved. I it out in a way that I love doing this. So, but I was figuring it out. I was kind of burnt out when I made that tutorial. It is not my best at all. So Bonnie and Clyde, this is like it's not a full-on Euro, but it's got a Euro-ish feel. I'm not going to lay it all out. You can see there's lots of cards, different weapons and events, roads that you travel on, but it's a pretty basic, it's, you know, simple pretty simple setup. You've got Bonnie Parker there just so you can see the artwork. You got these super cool older cars. You got your weapons merchant, as well as some of these supply marker tracks, things like that in here, and your little cubies. What Bonnie and Clyde is. Bonnie and Clyde, you play as Bonnie and Clyde on a road trip. Their final road trip, it is historically quite accurate. Actually by a historian in France, Alex, super cool dude. I love working with him and with his wife. You can do things like not rob places, or you can do things like rob places. It's up to you. There's a little bit of push your luck, but it is quite controlled. There really isn't a lot of swing. So that's why, to me, it's a little more like a Euro game. Absolutely love it. Enjoy it. Again, $27. I actually have an extra copy left. If you're interested in it, then reach out boardgames4one@gmail.com. First serve. Awesome game. I absolutely love Bonnie and Clyde. Another cool runner-up was actually this Wild Tales. This was either at the cusp of 2022. I'm pretty sure I got this in 2023. Less than $20, $15, something like that. But this is a full-on legacy game in like 20 cards. You progress along a storyline that's progressed in an app. Now, it's not like an epic storyline, but it's a storyline. It's truly like playing kind of like an online RPG. So I'll show you some of the artwork here. But this is Wild Tales. That is a Game of the Year nominee. If I had different categories for, small, for like card games, something like that, bam. This is amazing. So check it out. All right. Another noteworthy, I couldn't put it up for Game of the Year, but I want to put it up for surprise. Surprisingly enjoyed. Lords of Ragnarok. Don't leave. I know this game got trashed. There was some very justified critique of it. However, I had no desire to play it. The theme doesn't appeal to me. I like area control, but I'm not super into minis. Well, actually, I am now. I'm learning to appreciate them, and I didn't before. So my apologies to that. I am not opening this whole thing. Huge board, all these materials. I am not opening all of this. What Lords of Ragnarok is an area control game. You are trying to control the land of something. Valhar, Midgard, probably, Asgard, whatever. It's one of the guards. And you're playing as different heroes, Beowulf, things like that. So you can win by defeating a boss monster, Loki, that's wandering around. So you got monsters running around. You got other players' armies fighting control of areas. So you can win by gaining control of the most area. You can also win by you build temples to get special powers. And there's monuments that give you special powers. All that kind of stuff. The most likely ending, as you're progressing toward those, it forces Ragnarok to come closer. When Ragnarok happens, you have one turn left to try to take control of all the territories surrounding this one land called Yggdrasil. Most games will end that way, not all. So in the solo game, what was it? 1 out of the 3 games ended in something other than Ragnarok. Reason it can't be Game of the Year actually has nothing to do with the end conditions, because I haven't played it enough to really know that they're not possible. So far I've seen they're possible, just more difficult, like some are more difficult than others. The reason is just the complexity level. It's an area control game with a lot of things happening, right? So this is like Scythe, you've got the area control, you've got monsters and bosses and all just crazy stuff over. It's complex. The solo mode, the instruction booklet is as big as the regular instruction booklet. That's because it's an area control game. Complexity alone. Couldn't put this up for Game of the Year. Got a tutorial up on the channel, a full playthrough and my review. I think it deserves a good mention. I actually enjoyed it. So, keep going. This one I cheated with. This is, I'm almost certain, 2022, but I didn't see it in retail until 2023. This is one of the 3 that vie for the Game of the Year. So, Final Girl Series 2, as well as Paperback Adventures. Similar to Final Girl, you've got a core box that you have to buy for around 20 or 30, but it has very high quality components, so you get what you pay for there. And then somewhere between 18 and 20 for each of the novels that you get. So instead of feature films like Final Girl, you get these novels. It's a word battle, so you play as a hero, or in this case, the heroine. So the only thing I didn't love was the trays, but they're still cool. It's just the little markers don't fit. But you play against like a boss like the Mummy, as well as all their henchmen, and you play yourself as one of the heroes. I'm not going to open the other box. These come with like full-on sleeves. Everything has special sleeves, and it's for a reason, actually. It's for a reason, because you end up building up it's like a deck builder, I suppose, not just of letters, but of items that you can use when you're fighting against the boss. So there's a whole market that you get to shop from. I talked about this more in other videos. Yeah, so all kinds of items and things. But the core of the game is that you collect these cards, and in order to attack, what you do is you spell words. So let's say I spelled the word Zoe. We're going to pretend it's a word. So let's say I did zoo or Zoe. It has to be a word from the dictionary. Oh my goodness, give me something like Joe, foe. Let's do foe. Foe. So you take the cards that you have in your hand, you're collecting these letters, and you play it. Boom. If you lay it down, this would be the left side. So the icons on the left side would be applied. So I'm playing defenses against the attack. The villain's going to get a chance to attack. I could play it the other way, like instead of that, this, there we go. And then I use what's on the right side of the cards in case I'd be doing an attack. That's how you whittle away their health. You also have something that's like, it's like MP in games, but it gives you special abilities. This game totally caught me off guard. Absolutely contender for one of the best solo games I have ever played. So certainly contender for solo game of the year. Only reason why not is it was possibly 2022. I think that's what Board Game Geek says, even though I didn't see it anywhere until 2023. So, you know, hey, whatever. We'll take it. The only reason, I don't even know why. I think it comes down to being subjective. And I'm not huge into word games. If you are huge into word games, this may be one of the funnest solo experiences that you could have. If I was going to go between this and Final Girl, this would actually knock out Final Girl. All right, okay. And then a couple, I wouldn't put this up for Game of the Year, but mind your business. This cute little game, you are miners. You're little gobbly goblin. No, the goblin actually is trying to gobble you. You play as the little gnome miners, these cute little gnome miners, and you have this mine that's made up of a grid of cards, and you have a little mine cart that you put outside the grid. The grid is bigger than this. Whatever, we're going to pretend that's the mine cart. It's not. There are special little things. As you move your mine cart, you get to rotate cards to create a path for your mining. Based on that, you get to get certain points based on how you mine and how you create the path. And you're turning things. There's also a scary goblin trying to gobble your little gnome. There are special actions and chain reactions, all kinds of things that happen. But that's sort of the gist. Cool, simple game that I think you might like. Mind your business. Bye. Oh, Art. Game design by Art Casey. Confused me. All right, so good job, Art. And one more mention before we get to the Game of the Year and why it's Game of the Year. I was impressed with this one as a solo experience. It's also, this one is competitive multiplayer. Let's see, Bonnie and Clyde is 1 to 2 player, Damsel solo, Final Girl solo only, Lords of Ragnarok, again, not nominated for Game of the Year by any means, but worth mentioning because it surprised me. Anyway, yeah, that's multiplayer. Oh my goodness. Solar Titans. Solar Titans is a space battleship game. So you are using cards to, and I want to mention something special here because I appreciate something the publisher and the designers did with those right there. What you have is you're building a ship and you're fighting against another enemy ship, and your ship gets built out like this, you know, like you'll have your engines and your different guns, and there's a market, so your ship is over here, their ship is over there, you take turns firing at each other, repairing your ship. The fun thing is, there is also a market that gets laid out where you can, because it's a deck builder, so you can buy different, you can play cards as money to buy different things to enhance your ship, enhance your crew, all of that kind of fun stuff. Meanwhile, your AI opponent is trying to deplete that market, and that triggers the end of the game or the destruction of one of your ships. Oversimplified, but cool. When I was doing a video for the Kickstarter, which you've got on this channel, I asked for like a cheat sheet card for the solo AI. Not that it's a complex one. It has some if-then type of statements. If this happens, then the AI does that. I just want a little cheat sheet card. They actually added that. And they added these hard Atoma ships. And you can flip it over and it tells you everything you need to know for each one. So you've got all kinds of solo replayability in this game. It does take up quite a bit of space, even for cards, because your ships get pretty big because of the size of the cards. So it's not Game of the Year, but I really enjoy it. That was kind of a surprise hit. Game of the Year is actually a solo. I'm surprised how much solo-only games are in here that I've got, what, 3? Halls of Hegra. Trumpet Games, and I've been talking to you, dude. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. This is similar to this war of mine, where it's a survival. You are playing a historical battle, a battle at Hegra. I believe this was in Norway. Forgive me if I got that wrong. And the Nazis, the German army anyway, in the late 30s, or was this the early 40s of the war? Anyway, there was a siege, Hegra, and a general, soldiers, and at least a civilian, maybe several civilians, were under siege, but you are replaying that siege. Open this while I'm talking. Oh, I made it a mess. Oh, not fair. All these beautiful tiles. Oh my goodness. Anyway, you got beautiful artwork. I'm just flipping things all over the place. And you got your little wooden pieces. All this doesn't justify for the Game of the Year. It's such a beautiful game. Oh, Halls of Hegra. I'm sorry if I have triggered any of you for my disrespect to such a wonderful game. Anyway, let me show you the board. It also reminds me of Nemo's War. Not so much in gameplay, but just as far as the board layout. It does kind of have that military game type of look, war game type of look, but it's not a war game. Every turn, the Germans are going to attack. You're going to have to survive that attack and then try and get more supplies. You've got an infirmary where you can heal those who are injured. It's an action selection game. Worker placement, actually. It's selection. Aren't they the same thing? I don't know. Anyway, you have workers that you use over here that you can use to do things like repair, promote to a higher level from a volunteer to a soldier. Your soldiers can man guns to fire. Patrol missions to gather supplies. Actually, no, they go on supply missions where they run into patrols and artillery and they have to sneak around them. So you've got a little bit of Maquis in there as well, the solo board game. So you've got the mobilization for the first 3 rounds where you're just building, nothing terrible's happening. Then comes the first attack, it gets more intense, then starts the siege. And then it gets really intense and you start running into trouble. The second siege and a last stand. Every round you're just like, oh my goodness, but you can do it. You've got morale. If you have higher morale, great things happen. If you get low morale, do not let it happen. You will not make it. You will not make it. So the game can end at any point. You win if you survive the last stand while you're trying to keep your people alive. There is a little bit of luck in that there's rolling die when you're firing your artillery and when you're firing at the Germans as they build up their infantry, start moving up over here. But to push your luck as well. It's a bag builder. You've got a bag of all the different volunteers and recruits, and you get to draw so many during the first couple rounds when you're mobilizing and during the first attack. Once the siege happens, guess what? You don't get to recruit anymore because you're under siege. The theme is nuts. It bleeds theme. So this indie gem, solo-only game, by far wins the Game of the Year. And I'm looking forward to, after this, posting the videos I've already recorded. It just takes me a while to edit. First of the tutorial, then of the full playthrough, then detailed final thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you these bags at least, since I destroyed everything else. Oh my goodness. So I can put this back properly. Treat it with respect. Patrol bag, hit bag, recruit bag. These are your bags that you're building. You got airstrikes coming. So much going on. But you know what? The other thing I forgot to mention, another reason it's Game of the Year, it is not too complex. Rulebook is well written. It's not the best for reference, but it's absolutely possible. It's got a nice cheat sheet on the back of it, exactly what to do for each phase of the game. I'm so glad I got to play this. What a gem. I'm thinking it's around $60. I could be wrong, maybe $70, something like that. absolutely worth it when you compare it. You know, if you look at Paperback Adventures, Final Girl, you're going in at least that much just to get the basic appreciation of the game. What would you pick as Game of the Year? Let me know in the comments. I love you all. I'll see you next time.